Now I would like to start adding some enemies, but I haven't completely finished thinking about and deciding on how I'm going to manage the enemy movement yet. So while I'm still thinking about that, I'm going to modify this player object first. I'm going to work on him some more. Because so far, when he gets damaged, the only thing he does is say ouch. So should really start thinking about and working on a respawning kind of system here for when he does get damaged. So we need to add a couple of variables. Now what I'm going to do is if he gets damaged, I'm going to spawn him back at the start position, not where he gets damaged. So we need to create a variable for that. Variable start position, type vector3. Now on the level manager we already have a reference to the player script from memory. Yep, the player script, because we give the player script the level manager object. So what we can do here, what I call it, start position. Let's just say here the player script start position equals the player position, which we've given to it up there. So instead of just giving it that, let's just say player position. Okay, so that should assign a value to the starting position on the player. Let's watch that happen. Start position, I hit play. Okay, the player has a start position. Okay, so I suppose I should give a variable for lives as well. It's just going to be a counter, so it's just going to be an integer. Let's set that to 3 lives. Now while he's respawning, I do want to make him invulnerable, because I'm also going to do a bit of a flashy effect on the graphic. So I need to create a boolean to show if he's respawning or not. So variable is respawning, boolean. I suppose the very first time we start playing we don't need to make him invulnerable, so let's just leave him at false there. Okay, so all the rest is going to be working on this bin hit function here. So when this function is called by an explosion object, what are we going to do? I just noticed I missed a whole bunch of comments. Just a couple of comments to explain what's going on there. Now I really need to think about what's happening here. So what's happening on the bin hit? So respawn player. So what's going to be under respawn player? So reset the player position, and then what are we going to do? We're going to set to invulnerable for a short amount of time. We're going to flash the player graphic. Okay, so how are we going to end also? We should deduct the life first. Check if the player has any lives left. Okay, let's do that first. Check if the player has any life left. If not, end the game. Then we're going to deduct the life. So let's just start there. Lives minus minus. Now with integers, I think I've shown this before. That's just saying lives minus equals 1. Reset the player position. So the transform dot position equals start pause. Okay, set to invulnerable is respawning equals true. And then we flash the graphic on the player. So we need a reference to the player graphic. We need to set that up. So let's do the same thing as we do in the level manager. Let's check for the player graphic. So if there is no player graphic in the inspector, then we need to find it and assign it. Equals game objects. We have find child. Alright, let's go to the scripting reference. Transform child command. Okay, transform find is the find child. Okay. So instead of using game object find, let's use transform find. Because we check the hierarchy. Player graphic is a child of player, and it saves searching every object in the scene. So here, with using transform dot find player graphic. Alright, let's see if that part's working. Start player graphic. Okay, so we found our player graphic object. Now let's just set the renderer to flash a few times. That's all I'm going to do. Flash a player graphic. And then after all that's done, just make a note to set is spawning to false. Keep playing. So at the very end of flashing the graphic, we'll get the player on its way again. Now the whole point of this is respawning while I'm thinking about it. If we've been hit, we want to check if we're not respawning. Okay, because we don't want to damage ourselves and lose a life if we're already losing a life, or if we're respawning. That was the whole point of doing all this. Okay, flash the player graphic. So now if I'm going to cache the transform here, I may as well. Where else am I using transform position here? Nowhere. Oh, yeah, no, it's the rigid body velocity. Alright, now let's just leave it local. No, alright, let's just say my renderer, because that's all I want from the transform is the renderer. Equals player graphic. Which is the type transform renderer. Don't know if I've done that right. Okay, let's try and destroy ourselves to see if that throws an error or not. Okay, ouch. Okay, so that's fine. It's just my IntelliSense is not working as usual. It really doesn't play the game when you're in JavaScript. Alright, so we have a reference to the renderer. So let's yield, wait for seconds, and the IntelliSense wants to work now. 0. Let's just say let's flash it every 0.2. renderer.enabled equals false. And then we're just going to cycle through this, what, about 4 times? Make it flash 4 or 5 times. So false, true. Flash off. Flash on. So we can see what's happening. Might even put an extra space in there. This is the whole flashing. Okay, so that's off on, so that's once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Let's see if we've got that happening. Play, move out of the way a bit, destroy myself. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Probably could make the last couple of flashes quicker. So let's add one more flash and set the last ones to 0.1. So it takes the same amount of time. But the last couple of flashes just showing he's getting to the end of respawn. Flash, down here so we can see it respawns the position. Yep, okay, so he flashes quick at the end just before he comes back in. So we've got some respawning, and where's our player lives? Lives is now 2. Space. Okay, so he's okay, so what happens if he's all the way down here and he respawns up there? Yeah, he's going to jump quickly while the explosion's going. I want to put in a delay before he moves as well. So you get to see the end of, yeah, deduct a life. Let's just wait before moving to see the explosion. So yep, another yield. Let's get this right, eh? Yield. Wait for seconds. 0.4, 0.5. Let's just try 0.4, see what happens. So he shouldn't move immediately, but that's still a bit quick. Let's say 0.6. Boom. So you see a bit of the boom before he gets moved. Let's just cheat and put him somewhere all the way down here. Okay, so if we made it to here, we set off a bomb, see the boom, and then there we go, that's pretty nice. It starts off again. Boom. It's probably setting it a little bit far forward. So yet again, another micro change to all the things I've done before. Let's just set it back to 0.4. I think I pushed him so far forward so that when he places a bomb, it's not sitting. Yeah, so you get the clipping. That's why I sat him so far forward. Well, that's a matter of personal choice. 0.45. It's up to you. Okay, so we've got respawning on being hit, lives lost. If not, end the game. Load the lose scene. So that's all noted up, ready for when we do have separate scenes to move to. So I think that's all I actually wanted to do for that part. Yep, okay, let's have a think about what's next.